It was August in New York, which I didn't yet know is the lousiest month of the year here. The air is thick and damp, and you constantly have the feeling that you're in a steam room fueled entirely by urine. The line for taxis at Newark Airport already seemed beaten down by the heat, and given that I wasn't even in Manhattan yet, I couldn't help but interpret the scene as some kind of warning about how hard the city was going to be. But I was here. I had taken the biggest step, and I had moved to New York City. Though I had only visited a couple times in prior years, I knew this is where I belonged. I was falling in love like a kid falls in love at summer camp, quickly, completely, and with irrational passion. After nearly 30 painful minutes, my sweat-drenched parents and I piled into a cab like cattle, adding physical discomfort to the emotional awkwardness that had marked the trip so far. I should mention here that 3 days before we'd left Omaha, the week I'd turned 19, I'd come out to my family. I didn't think there would be an issue, but just in case, I had an exit firmly planned. My family was mostly, what's the best way to say this? Not shocked. I knew all the words to Grease 2 by the time I was 6. I played around the house as Miss Piggy. I watched T.J. Hooker hoping that Adrian Zmed would be shirtless at some point. He rarely disappointed. And then there was the telltale sign. I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz, even the black and white part. So here we were, my parents and I, 3 days out of the closet, jammed into the back of a cab that was swerving toward Manhattan, making us all carsick. The anxiety was thicker than the Nang Champa the cab driver was burning on the dashboard. Neither one of my parents had come with me to look at colleges, and it was clear that they didn't want to be on this trip either. My father, Ron, had never set foot in New York, and didn't seem excited about doing so now. We had never been close, and I already worried that coming out had created more of a distance between us. Now there would be a physical distance, too. I knew there would be no long phone calls sharing the drama of drama school with him, or hearing him tell me about the stresses of his advertising sales business. The chance for a relationship with him as a young adult was looking slimmer and slimmer. My mother, Charlotte, a former teen model from Omaha, hadn't been to New York since she was a high school student in 1964. She and some other local girls from her modeling agency had been taken to Manhattan to meet talent agents. And while she had been presented with the opportunity of staying in New York, city life had proved too hectic, and she had returned to Nebraska. While she always spoke romantically about her visit, the excitement of staying at the Waldorf Astoria, going to the Russian tea room, seeing Robert Redford and barefoot in the park, she had never returned, not until this trip. No one in my family had gone away to college, and not only was I going away, I was going 1,249 miles away. My coming out, combined with my move, filled my mother with every fear imaginable. Muggings, gay bashings, me being sex trafficked. The first time I'd gone to New York to look at schools, she had given me a roll of quarters and told me, "You can use them for vending machines or pay phones, or hold them in your fist and punch someone if they try to attack you." Beyond arming me with coins as a means of self-defense, my parents had made it clear that they wouldn't be helping me with college costs or the expense of moving to New York. I can't explain to you why my parents took this stance, but in my family, college was something you paid for yourself. I had watched my 2 older sisters and my brother do it. They studied hard for scholarships, they worked multiple jobs, and they managed. Now it was my turn. But no one was willing to say, or perhaps no one understood, just how different and difficult New York City was going to be. I had started working at a young age doing TV commercials and local modeling jobs and had saved a few $1,000s over the years. Enough to get started, but not nearly enough for college. So when it came time to audition for drama departments, I had no choice but to base my choices on price. I was given a full ride to Marymount Manhattan College and was grateful for the opportunity, but I knew instantly, somewhere in my heart, that it was not the best fit. Still, while it wasn't the school of my dreams, that was NYU, it was putting me geographically closer to an even bigger dream of acting on Broadway, a dream that suddenly felt real for the first time as the lights of Times Square flashed in front of me. The cab ride through Manhattan had felt almost as long as the plane ride, but we finally pulled up at what would be my new home for this new stage of my life. The dorm was an old building on 57th and Lexington, It's a neighborhood I now know is soulless and sad, but on that first day, it seemed terribly glamorous.